lot of people nowadays seem to think cause they know your face based on what majority says and filling in the blanks. They have a right to be ashamed when you don't turn on how they think, as if it mattered to begin with, as if we had us a friendship. Wrote you what you wanted to hear, would you rescind it or read it and pretend as if you didn't happen to see it? All the things that make me me, not the me that you perceive as, but the pill popping, alcohol induced functioning weed head, deceiving, lying and thieving, conniving, misleading, manipulative, insensitive, indecent human being, for lack of a better word to mean him, a demon with the utmost disrespect for human feelings, conditioned through the years and not fitting in with peers and outcasts who they all said wouldn't outlast but did in his own right. Right to live, to right to live in a better sense of the word than he did or didn't. However you choose to look at the image, you can flip it however you want. You're still viewing the same pixels, I'll still be the same misfit kid who could never give shit, forcibly removed till he had nothing else to live with, and grew to be indifferent, which grew to him being distant. Easily would get pissed and steady on the defensive, ready for any question should a question presented. Self in his direction, he's 10 answers ahead with 10 other suggestions looming for everyone. Intuitive and instinctive, but he thinks too much, filling his mind with probabilities of the things he discussed. So certain situations arise beneath his feet and he's stuck. The quiet one, quick with the tongue, so should you happen to catch it, chances are the vibe comes off with a shitty impression. First one never really my strong point, much better at seconds, and every following succession better in imperfections. So my weaknesses are strengths on an incomparable level. I might have dropped out at cost of being lost in the shovel, but it was only within that struggle through which I discovered a certain desperation involved when the world is above you. Force yourself against that wall and the pressure will double. I wouldn't be half of who I am had I not been a fuck up and willing to make the mistakes I wasn't able to touch up. It's only once you've broken down that you can truly be something. How I hated it, lying in wait until it made me get so goddamn irritated and ashamed that I took blame for shit I wasn't even at fault for, simply cause I could take it. And before I knew it, all I knew was pain and deprivation. Yet it hasn't posed an issue out of range what I can handle, so I suffer for the others while I bleed it out on canvas as I'm seeking out the answer to the reason why I'm standing, cause I just can't understand it. How I'm managing to manage to remain atop this planet when I'm lack of all but spirit, my pride damaged severely in the foolishness in hand with emotionally bandaged in the plaster like ceramic where the cracks are starting to show and gradually expand. How much pressure upon a soul can it hold and remain in sanity before it implodes and reverts to a formless energy, or worse, a form of entity? Is this the path meant for me, or is it that I just can't get past the symmetry of his past reenacted through my history? Is this that detrimental to my hindering that I just can't move on and learn to live with it until he's dead and gone and there's an end to it, and I can just forget about him and all the shit he did instead of me having to live denying visits in feeling just as shitty as him? But my difference is I could do this shit all day cause I've lived through it. You can just fade away so I can live again and everything will be the same, but I'll give a shit and life will be right as rain cause all the guilt will lift and I won't have to be ashamed of my initials and finally clear the stains from my name. How I dreamed for the days when it wasn't a dream and everything was a nightmare that felt like all my life's years, and one day I would just wake up and shit be right. Yeah, never happened, always a looming disaster. Just as soon as things get good, instantaneously bad, cause it feels like I'm bound and shackled, drowning fast in a sea of my own misery. Headaches with no aspirin, escape with no traveling, sedate with what I grab, cause reality is getting a little too hard to grasp, and my mind just ain't what it used to be. Like who is he? If I ain't him, then who is me? So I changed, huh? Guess I'll just get used to me.